Good
Good
morning.
morning, everyone.
As per our guests are from different time zone, very good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to one and all present here. I, Neelam Purania, on behalf of Global Knowledge Research Foundation, pleased to welcome you on this conference on information and communication technology for intelligent system. This conference will provide the participants with opportunities to discuss and explore areas related to the theory, development, applications, experiences, and evaluation of interaction sciences with fellow students, researchers, and practitioners. It will provide a platform for bringing forth significant research and literature across the field of information and communication technology for intelligent systems and provide an overview of the technologies waiting unveiling. The mission of this international conference on ICT for intelligent system is to bring together researchers in related fields such as information systems, distributed AI, intelligent agents, and collaborative work to explore and discuss various aspects of design and development of intelligent technologies. This journal provides a forum for academies and practitioners to explore research issues related to economic issues and organizational impacts. We have been doing this conference for last four editions, and now this is the fifth edition. And due to the COVID situation, we had to make this conference digitally instead of making it happen in Ahmedabad physically because we have to maintain social distancing norms. Currently, the second wave of COVID-19 is increasing across the globe. So we hope you are doing safe wherever you are. And we are very pleased to welcome you on this digital platform. Thank you for being here, and we hope these 2 days of international conference will be more productive to each and every participant. And now I would like to invite our like Dr. Amit Joshi to address the inaugural session. He is currently the director of Global Knowledge Research Foundation, also an entrepreneur and researcher who has completed his graduation BTech in information technology and MTech in computer science and engineering, and completed his research in the areas of cloud computing and cryptography in medical imaging with a focus on analysis of the current government strategies and world forums needs in different sectors on security purposes. He has an experience of around 10 years in academic and industry in prestigious organizations. He is an active member of ACM, IEEE, CSI, AMIE, IAC, SIT Singapore, IDES, ACEEE, NPA, and many other professional societies. Further, currently, he is also the international chair of InterVIIT at International Federation of Information Processing, IFIP, Austria. He has presented and published more than 50 papers in national and international journals, conferences of IEEE and ACM. He has edited more than 20 books which are published by Springer, ACM, and other reputed publishers. He has also organized more than 40 national and international conference and workshops through ACM, Springer, IEEE across 5 countries, including India, UK, Thailand, Europe. He is majorly focusing on academic tie-ups for medical, engineering, and management sectors. For the same, he is representing the organization in many delegations to countries including USA, UK, Canada, Israel, and visited more than 15 countries. He always looks forward and strive for networking in various sectors with a focus on education and industry sector. Dr. Amit Joshi, over to you, sir.
Thank you, Neelam, for so kind words. Although I am not very used to this kind of introduction, but really appreciate and thank you very much. Hey, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to one and all present here, and welcome to our virtual ICTIS 2021 summer conference. I would like to start by wishing you and your families my personal best for your health, safety in these difficult times. I would also like to express my profound gratitude to all those people who have been related to medical facilities, workers, doctors, nurses who are serving us so selflessly on front lines of this health crisis. I personally, with a very heavy heart this time, welcome you for this fifth edition of ICTIS 2021. As we commence the fifth edition, I thought about my speech in fourth edition of ICTIS 2020 that this global health crisis, unlike any in the century and history. Indeed, last ICTIS 2020 was a digital conference, and again, we thought that 2020 would have been a physical one, but again, we are going through a second wave, and which is more stronger and more deeper. So, it is very unfortunate for us to have again this conference on this digital platform. Indeed, last complete year did not pass. It just happened and is still happening. While monsoon is underway, while nature is reawakening, humanity is facing one of the darkest period in the living memory. We need more prayers in these current times for everyone's well-being. I hope these times will change soon. And as we are a part of ICT forums, research forums, and we can contribute in many different ways, and I hope everyone is doing their part on their own. Now, leaving this all things aside, ICDIS has been scheduled in Ahmedabad. So, Ahmedabad is a city which is in the 609th year of celebration of its formal existence this year. A world famous city for cotton textiles, a variety of mouth-watering snacks, diamond cuttings, and more importantly, the first heritage city of the world. So, this conference and this city is also special as this conference is organized as City Ahmedabad, which has been the first office of our organization since its inception. And further, this is the only conference of our organization and the only event which we are doing in this particular city, irrespective of this current crisis. We at Global Knowledge Research Foundation have been now working for nearly 8 years at edge and prominent level organizational structures and activities globally. Over the span of time, we have worked on various sectors towards research, IT, IP, agriculture, communication systems, security, and various other sectors. We are keen to support sustainable development goals in any forms, in any of the organizational events, and any of the research forums. With the experience and passionate environment at our offices, we have been trying to involve more conceptive and more conceptual activities thereafter, reaching to connect and collaborate forums globally. We focus on socio-economic transformation through information and communication technologies for wider area for participatory enterprise development. Jointly with our team, we have now connected more than 200,000 researchers, organized more than 50 technical conferences, 10 delegations, and created a lot more stakeholders from more than 100 countries. Our team with a global vision and mantra is now striving to bring new concepts that can change the thought process through innovative minds. We have acknowledged and recognized the efforts of more than 1,000 individuals and organizations in form of recognitions. We are keen and open always for collaborations and are happy to work on new concepts and activities in research globally. But apart from all these facts, our organization is not just about conferences, events, and awards. It is much beyond in terms of connecting people, industries, researchers, research labs, universities, and companies which can create a difference in the field of ICT. And as we are here for this conference, all the participants who have joined us for this inaugural session are will play a key role in this connecting processes. And as conferences are not only meant for presenting your papers, they are also meant for connecting and connecting people. So I request everyone that by the end of these 2 days, at least have one fruitful connection from this conference, which you can carry forward for next 3 to 4 years. And you can share your research knowledge, they can share it to you, and some collaboration can occur, some new concepts can develop. Now, talking about the conference, ICTIS is a very young conference growing exponentially in terms of research quality and people across the world. This fifth edition marks a significant journey of our organization, and along with welcoming you for this edition, we are optimistic to reach new milestones and making you a part of our journey. I am proud to announce that this year conference we have received around more than 650 papers from 18 different countries across the globe, out of which finally 160 papers from 12 countries have been on the final list after rigorous review process and registrations, and would be published in 2 volumes by Springer SIST series. The people on the committee of ICTIS 2021 really appreciate the gesture of all the participants. And apart from the participants, I would also like to thank the whole committee of ICTIS 2021, the reviewers, the committee members, the decision makers, for taking right and appropriate decisions at right times in terms of review process and rejecting papers and accepting papers. And we are very keen, focus, and optimistic organization towards that what content should be published and what should not go for publication. So we are really uh, on that in terms of quality. My next part for this conference is to welcome our guests and speakers who are here, and we are really grateful for all of them for sparing their valuable time, especially the inaugural speaker, Professor Mike Henchy from University of Limerick, Engineer B.S. Yadav, Honorable Chancellor of IES University Bhopal, Mr. Anando Bose, Senior Editor Springer, Mr. Nakul Cherdalal, who is advisor of our own organization, Engineer Bharat Patel, who is again the Secretary General of KCCI and an advisor for our own organization. We have with us the keynote speakers, Dr. Mufti Mahmood. We have our own very great and supportive colleague and a mentor, Dr. Suresh Satpathy, with whose efforts this conference was conceptualized in the year 2015, and now we are, after 6 years, we are in the fifth edition. Then we have with us Dr. Nilanjan De, and there are many, Dr. Jyoti Chaudhary, and there are many other speakers and session chairs. The list is so long because we have almost around 32 session chairs for this ICTIS 2021, and I cannot name everyone, but I welcome all of you to this fifth edition of this conference. Before binding up my speech, my thanks are also due to all our associated partners, specifically IES University Bhopal, Springer, IFIP Interjet, which is the Young International ICT Group of International Federation for Information Processing, Knowledge Chamber of Commerce and Industry of India, the only chamber which focuses towards knowledge events. and and there are various directly or indirectly associated organizations I would like to thank at this platform. Again, with a very heavy heart and prayers in mind for all those who have been affected in this ongoing pandemic, with a but further with a lighter note, ICDIS conference committee thinks positively on this, that hope things will change soon and people will gather again in these bigger events, and we hope that we all together can get through this pandemic in national unity and global solidarity. Once again, I welcome you all and wish you great deliberation in next 2 days of this conference. Again, before ending my speech, I want to focus that please try to connect new people. These forums are for connecting people rather than just presenting your work, coming at this time of your session, presenting your work and going away. This is not a kind of forum. If you will connect, definitely after 1 year, when you come for the next sixth edition, you will say that the next last year has been completely different in different perspectives through research. I wish you all the best, and I hand over the things again to Neelam. So Neelam, it's on you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Okay. Next, we have Mr. Nakul Sheikh Dalal. He is the advisor of Global Knowledge Research Foundation. And Mr. Nakul is the founder of NS Legal. He is a Master of Laws from Queen Mary University of London. After pursuing his Master of Laws, he especially returned to India from Great Britain to further his ideology of making his country ever steady in IPR. Having such an extensive IPR legacy behind him, he believes in spreading awareness by simulating the innovators and creators to nosedive into the world of IPR. Mr. Nakul, over to you, sir.
I think Neelam, Mr. Nakul has, I think, left the meeting again. I think there might be some network issues. So can we move on
Okay.
to the next speaker?
Yes, sir, sure. Next, we have Mr. Aninda Bose. Aninda Bose is presently working as a senior publishing editor with Springer Nature. Mr. Bose is a part of the global acquisition team at Springer Nature and responsible for acquisition of scientific content across the globe. He is responsible for acquisition of content in incredisciplinary applied sciences. He has more than 26 years of industrial experience in marketing and different fields of publishing. Mr. Bose has completed masters in organic chemistry from Delhi University and masters in marketing research from Symbiosis University of Management Studies, Pune. Mr. Bose has delivered more than 145 invited talks on scientific writing and publishing ethics in reputed universities, international conferences, and author workshops. He has published books for secondary level in chemistry and is a member of American Chemical Society, USA. Mr. Bose, over to you, sir.
Yep. Good morning. I hope you can all hear me, right, Neelam?
Yes, sir. Good morning.
Yeah.
Very good morning.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Neelam. And thank you all over here. I can see couple of faces, I can see Bharat Bhai. I can see Satpati sir. I can see Mike again after a week. So we just with there, this is I think, as Amit has explained, this is the darkest hour of our living, you know, situation. I really don't know what to say about this whole pandemic. We were hit in 2020 and we were all thinking that it will go soon. And we were thinking that the fifth edition of ICTIS will be, online, move to physical mode. And we talked about it last year. But it's very unfortunate that India is making all different kind of world records right now, which we never wanted. The numbers which are coming out is it's very scary. Every day what we are seeing is we never wanted to see these images in our lifetime. We are equally hit. Everyone in India is equally hit by the thing, because our own relatives, our own friends, people who are nearest to us, they are suffering. They are hit hard. I don't know how to explain this. People ask me, "How are you?" Sometimes, whenever it's a normal way of to start any conversation. People ask, "How are you?" I don't know how to answer this question now. How am I? Because I'm so stressed. It's every day we are hearing so many things, so many negative things. But the show must go on. Yeah, that is, we all know that we have to give our best. I think we have to give our more than best at this hour, at this time. And ICTIS started 6 years ago, as Amit said. And this is a conference which is talking about intelligent systems technology. And I'm glad to see, in this hour also we are getting so many papers, and people are working so hard, that is because every time Amit comes back and asks me, and can we get another volume, can we have another volume of this book. And so 150 papers are accepted, so many people are here, you will be presenting. And as Amit correctly said, that it is important that we network. I know it is very difficult. It is becoming more challenging because when we were doing it physically, it was much easier. We used to, meet each other. We used to talk with each other over a cup of coffee. But interestingly, now it is not possible. We are just sitting at our home, and during those periods, I really love to talk to Bharat Bhai. I love to talk to Mike, and share so many details with each other, which we are not able to do it right now. We are just talking from our side, and we are just listening somewhat. We are not able to connect with each other the way we want. So Amit correctly said, we have breakout sessions. Please try to connect, because research is collaboration. We cannot forget that. Without collaboration, nothing happens. And I will take a couple of more minutes. I will just share a slide with you. I will share this screen. If you just make me co-host, I can do that. Amit, will you please? Because I just wanted
You
to
are a
talk about
co-host.
something.
You are a co-host, sir.
This will stop. Okay, I will just. I hope you can see the slide, right? This is something which we were discussing 15 days back in our organization. I can proudly say right now that Springer is carbon neutral and we have achieved that, and unfortunately we have to give a lot of credit to pandemic, because we never traveled in last 1 year. So there is no we have not generated anything due to, because of our we never took a flight. And that is why we made it possible quickly. And something which is very close to our heart, which is something very close to Mike's heart also. Mike will I don't know whether Mike will talk about it today, is basically the sustainable goals. And we all know the ICT and intelligent systems, everything can work if we achieve our sustainable goals. We have 17 goals. We all know these SDG goals. I would actually recommend this movie to you. This is, I hope you all know David Attenborough. David Attenborough and Richard Attenborough, they are one of the biggest directors of movies. David Attenborough is basically attached with BBC for many years. And when we were kids, we used to watch his documentary called Living Planet on our television. So this is a movie which is a lifetime, his witness statement, basically a life on our planet. It is available on Netflix. I really request you all to go and see this movie. This is a walkthrough when he was 11 years old in 1937 or so. From then, how everything moved till 2020. The SDG, how SDG can be supported, what exactly we are looking at, how the population has changed, how the wildlife has been basically totally removed from our earth from 66%, which was when Attenborough was 11-year old in 1937, is just now 35% only. We are taking away the wild, and we actually forget to coexist with other species. That is what is actually creating all this problem which we are facing right now. We need to understand our existence also depends on coexistence. And I really recommend you, because this movie is not about his life. This movie is basically our life on the planet. And this movie actually talks about certain fantastic solutions. And it talks about till 2100, another 80 years. And it says very categorically, if we do these things, whatever he has suggested in this movie, if we do this thing, then our existence is possible. If we do not, 2100 is just like a end of the whole story. That is, the game is over. We are 7.8 billion right now, a big number of species. Unfortunately, this, if you just take away the human being from this earth, everything will exist as is. So we still think, that we are the most premier species, but we are not. If you look at the food chain, we are actually creating a lot of issues. So I just want to tell you that ICT and intelligent systems is very, very closely attached to SDG. And we have all these SDG goals, which are very clearly defined by United Nations. Till 2030, we have to achieve many things. And this particular movie will tell you how good things by small countries like Netherlands, by Costa Rica, and all these small countries, they are doing their bits. So as from India, we can definitely do many things. And I'm very glad that Springer is doing many things, and Springer Nature is started thinking about it after watching this movie. We had a session, complete session on this movie, and we are trying to put our small bit, individual bit from our side. With a heavy heart, again, as Amit said, I congratulate you all for this conference. I feel that you should stay safe, healthy, and in sixth edition, we should be physically available to meet each other, and we should be available, on a platform where we can actually talk to each other rather than this online platform. I literally hate this online platform because I cannot see you guys. I cannot see your expressions. I cannot hug you. I cannot hold your hands. I cannot shake your hands, and I cannot say anything more than this. But with a heavy heart again, congratulations. Stay safe. Stay healthy. Watch this movie. Do your bit, and I think we will be out of this whole scenario, out of this situation very quickly. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Bose. Next, we have our inaugural speaker, Dr. Mike Hinge. He is the president of International Federation for Information Processing, Austria, and professor in University of Limerick, Ireland. He is director. He has been director of NASA of Soft Engineering Laboratory. He continues to serve as a NASA expert. In 2009, he was awarded as NASA's Curley Award as Innovator of the Year. Dr. Hinchi holds a BSc in Computer Systems from University of Limerick, an MSc in Computation from University of Oxford, and a PhD in Computer Science from University of Cambridge. The author editor of more he is the author and editor of more than 15 books and over 200 articles on various aspects of software engineering at various times. Dr. Hinchi previously held positions as a full-time professor in Australia, UK, Sweden, and USA. Dr. Hinchi, over to you, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the kind introduction. Good morning, everybody, and thank you to the organizers for your kind invitation to join you. Like everyone, I wish it was in person, but at least we can meet via this platform. It's been a very difficult year for everybody, and as Ahmed pointed out, very disappointing that we have this event 2 years in a row on an online platform. And Ahmed mentioned and discussed in a little bit of more detail the Sustainable Development Goals that have been developed by the United Nations. We realized this year that we are so reliant on ICT for just about everything. We can't travel this year because of the pandemic, but if we were, we would be reliant on software, on an ICT for doing that. And in many ways, we're trying to simplify travel and simplify the way we get around the world in a more sustainable way. And of course, this year we have a lot of interest in space travel again, as NASA and other agencies have decided to put emphasis on going to Mars and back to the moon. And of course, we have a number of other countries now, UAE, India, China, with missions to the moon and to Mars. And in the last few weeks, we've seen great results with the Perseverance rover, and more interestingly, the Ingenuity helicopter, which was the first flight on another planet, at least that we know of. That was a great success in the last few weeks and wonderful to see. We're of course used to seeing ICT used in all sorts of manufacturing, in power supply, in telecommunications, and unfortunately this year, very much in healthcare, where a great emphasis has been on ICT, both for diagnosing patients, but also for treatment. And of course, we're reliant on these little devices, these smartphones that we're using for so many things, whether it's tracking and tracing people, whether it's checking our health, and of course, good old-fashioned communication. I believe that you can actually use them for phone calls. And of course, we've been reliant on electronic commerce so much this year. So many people had to have their medications supplied by vendors who are working on the internet. So many people had to buy their food from vendors over the internet, and many other things as well, of course. But this sets us open to all sorts of problems for cybersecurity, where we can be exploited and made use of, partly because we give so much of our information out to other people, not thinking about what they're going to do with it. So you may remember back in last July, there was a hack into Twitter accounts of a number of celebrities, politicians, etc. And these messages were posted saying that if you send Bitcoin, you'd get double that amount back. This, of course, was a hack, and it's quite scary that it was a hack and not just a fake post. But I would hope that the people who would be fooled by this, who would be naive enough to believe that this is real, wouldn't have the know-how to actually be able to send Bitcoin, and therefore wouldn't be affected to the same extent. But essentially, we're moving to a situation where we're in a cyber-physical social. That is to say that we are cyber because we're reliant on software, physical because we're integrating with the physical world, and a social system because we're giving so much information and data about ourselves to so many different people. We're giving it to our friends on platforms like Facebook and Twitter. We're giving it to organizations from whom we buy things so that they can record what we buy and sell us more things. And we're giving them information, and many times information that we want to give them because it allows them to provide us with a service. But we're also giving them data that they can sell to other people as a service and can be used to sell us things, but unfortunately also to exploit us in some cases, which is not a good thing. And Inda talked about the Sustainable Development Goals of the United Nations. So there are actually 17 Sustainable Development Goals that the United Nations is aiming to resolve by the end of the year 2030. These are actually broken down into 169 specific aims, but they're grouped together into a number of areas like no poverty, zero hunger, good health and well-being, quality education, etc. You can read the 17 of them here yourselves, and they're of course also available all over the United Nations websites. Some of these are obviously directly related to ICT, and ICT has a direct bearing on them, but there are a number of others where it's not so obvious, such as number 16, peace, justice, and strong institutions. But ICT contributes to making those institutions strong, to making those institutions work together and to communicate, even if it's down to just platforms like the one we're using today. And we imagine the life we would have had in this last 12 months if we didn't have all of the advances in ICT for the last 50, 60, 70 years. It would have been a very different year. We wouldn't have been able to communicate with our friends so easily. We wouldn't have been able to shop online. We wouldn't have been able to have events such as this. So every July, the United Nations publishes what it calls the SDG Pulse. So this is highlighting the topics for the current year that are necessary to address in achieving these 17 goals. And so July 2020, they published this one, which was zero hunger, decent working conditions, industry innovation, reduced inequalities, responsible consumption, peace, justice, and strong institutions, and partnerships for making the goals happen. You'll notice that this mentions nothing about healthcare and about health. That's because although published in July 2020, these were planned a number of months in advance. So imagine what is going to be published in the July 2021 edition of the SDG Pulse. We can certainly assume that it's going to be a strong emphasis on something rather than these 7 topics. Rather, it's going to be about health and well-being, which the UN defines as health monitoring via emerging technologies, so track and trace technologies that we've seen, remote contact diagnosis and treatment, so being able to visit your doctor or have a meeting with your doctor without actually going to the doctor's office, population and disease monitoring, and this is important for preparing for disease outbreaks, identifying patient symptoms, following established treatment protocols, and performing remote diagnostics, and helping analyze trends and make projections about outbreaks, service usage, patient attitudes and practices. So these things are exactly what we've been doing this year. These are the things we've had to do by monitoring and healthcare. And mostly it's been done with these simple devices, these smartphones that many of us carry now in our pockets. But some of the track and tracing systems did not work well, as you can see in this cartoon from the Times of London. Peter Brooks is my favorite cartoonist. He draws great cartoons, but they're also really, really funny. So the BBC asked, why did the UK's tracker not work when the Irish one worked extremely well, as the trackers in Germany and other countries? Well, it's quite simple. In Ireland, 23% of the population downloaded the app within about 24 hours of its availability, and then they used it. Whereas in other countries, for example, in France, only about 1.5 million users out of about 65 million downloaded their app, and most of those deleted it within 24 hours. So they didn't use it at all. So it's not just having the technology available to us, it's that the technology has to be used. And the Irish one is not claiming to be anything wonderful, but it was popular and it was used and it was user-friendly. And as a result, it's been made available to a number of other countries to base their track and tracing technology on. So these goals for the SDGs, these goals for this year, as the SDG Pulse defined them, are important, of course, but next year see health and health processing become a major factor and something we absolutely have to focus on. So I'm just going to play you a very short video, if you'll bear with me, about IFIP and what it does and its relationship to both ICT and the SDGs.
IFIP is the Global Federation of ICT Professional Societies and Associations committed to IFIP is the Global Federation of ICT Professional Societies and Associations committed to advancing professional and socially responsible applications of technology. Our members are ICT professionals, researchers, academics, teachers, and policymakers who are focused on developing and sharing ICT knowledge and expertise, promoting global digital equity, educating and enhancing public understanding about technology and its potential, and increasing professionalism and professional standards.
IFIP runs over 100 events each year to bring together international experts on different ICT-related topics, to share the latest developments, explore possibilities, and discuss issues of relevance to the ICT profession. We're a strong advocate for digital equity and work closely with other global bodies like UNESCO and ITU to promote understanding of the issues relating to technology and to collaborate on solutions to help us achieve the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals.
The biennial IFIP World Computer Congress brings together thought leaders from across the globe to share their knowledge and expertise and to discuss emerging technology issues. While our World IT Forum event, or WIT4, is specifically focused on identifying ways to enhance access to technology for developing nations to enable them and their citizens play an active role in the global digital economy.
Our International Professional Practice Partnership, known as IP3, is the leading group driving professional standards for technologists around the world. And it was responsible for having the importance of professionalism as a key enabler of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals recognized and discussed at the United Nations. IFIP also seeks to raise awareness and understanding amongst the wider community about where technology is going, how it can enhance the quality of our lives, and how to ensure that all peoples have equal access and opportunity. We are uniquely positioned to achieve these outcomes through our global network of technical committees and working groups that bring together experts in different fields to share and enhance their knowledge and to focus attention on key issues relating to technology.
Our members have access to the biggest network of technical experts in the world, enabling them to form valuable connections, grow their knowledge and skills, and contribute to the development of new insights and global standards for ICT professionals.
So thank you again very much. I wish you a great couple of days. Please do talk to people, please engage, and please do solve some of the problems we have in the world today. And I hope to meet some of you at least next year at the in-person version of this event. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Mike. Next, we have our special industry guest, Mr. Bharat Patel. He is a COO at ICTIS Solution India and Secretary General at Knowledge of Commerce and Industry India. Mr. Patel is an engineer in electronics and communication from Gujarat University. He pursued his research at Bhabha Atomic Research Center, Trombay, and Operational Research Group and Space Application Center, ISRO, for designing of microcomputers and integrated circuits based designs. He has been also recognized as an ambassador of change, a keen strategist with expertise in providing effective business solutions. Currently, Mr. Patel is a president with ABS, which is a division of British Council. He is chairman at Startups Mission with Geisha, board member with Gujarat Innovation Society, and council member at CPDB at the Institution of Engineers India. Mr. Patel, further, he is a fellow at IEI and IETE, member of CSI, International Red Cross, British Business Group, GCCI, founder member with Gujarat Innovation Society, SOTEM, and many more. In the past, he was the chairman of CSI Ahmedabad and also the past chairman of Gujarat State Center of IEI. Mr. Patel, over to you, sir.
Thank you very much for this kind words. It's a very long introduction that you have given. I think Mr. Bose, Mike Henchy, Amit, a lot of people, we are all known to each other. Of course, for the benefit of the others, introduction is necessary. Much has been already said. In the earlier speakers have already expressed their thoughts about COVID. It is very true that this particular time has been really very bad, and it's a challenge which everybody has to undergo. Nothing that we can really do as such. But I appreciate what Mr. Bose said about the coexistence and what we should do our part in terms of contribution. Now, when we say coexistence between ourselves and the other nature as such, there's a lot of things that each one of us can contribute. Today, although this has become a so-called new normal, there has been always challenges which are bringing up opportunities. And we perhaps did not have platforms like this, which we are using today. Had we not had such kind of challenges, perhaps such platforms with immense, if we look at the speed by which, we are having this video compression being transmitted all across the globe, I think perhaps this could not have been done. So I think wherever there are challenges, there are opportunities also which come up. And ICT definitely plays a major role in contributing all this across the globe. I think Mike has really very well articulated most of these points about the 17 SDGs and how ICT is all across these goals. And, be it healthcare, be it the industry, be it, education, whatever that we talk about, I think ICT is contributing a core area within the whole SDG goals that we talk about. Because today, as he rightly mentioned about the basic phone, a smartphone, that itself is almost a start to any of these technologies that we talk about, be it whether it is a monitoring of a patient remotely, or even if it is a telemedicine or whatever that we say, or even in terms of when we talk about the industries, whether the connectivity through the mobile, and even more so when the 5G is fully across the globe. Controlling any device, any valve across in the industry will be possible very efficiently. So I think most of this information technology communication is playing a major role in whatever that we are going to ease our life by you know, all these systems. So when you talk about these intelligent systems, it's basically to when I'm as a part of this innovation council, it is making our lives simple, and sometimes it is also difficult, because when it makes it simple, there are a lot of chances that there are threats like the cyber attacks and all that, which is also a part of the whole system. So we got to be very careful in using the technology, and cyber threats, as we know, has, especially during this time, the cyber threats have gone absolutely to its peak. Like one of those tweets which was put across where Barack Obama had put, even that hash can easily be tracked and found out. You find out in like using the supercomputers as to what hash that is, and I know people who are there in the blockchain would easily understand this. That how serious it becomes. So cybersecurity is absolutely a core area which is going to protect all these ICT facilities that we are actually going to use. So I think more so when I'm called here to speak about for the industry as well. I feel like industries do need all these technologies for the speed, accuracy, and also for the ease. So when we talk about speed and ease, threats are embedded into it. So we got to be very careful how these threats are eliminated, and what precautions that we need to do. So normally a well-designed product or system has to have everything intact. You just cannot compare an Apple iPhone with a similar kind of features in another phone, because a well-engineered product will have everything which is very well defined and tested before it is rolled out into the market. So I would say this conference, which is the fifth edition of ICTIS, which is normally, yes, a physical place. And I think most of the time we had it at Pride. So I was just talking to Amit. Was there anybody who was actually interested in the physical? And he says, yes, there was one person who was just staying behind the Pride Hotel. So he was very keen. So it was, I can imagine, this is a big threat of this COVID, and we all are a part of it. I'm sure, someone or the other in your surrounding or ourselves would have got affected by this. And I wish Almighty that it gives us strength to bear all this, and we come out of this as quickly as possible, and look forward to the next one, which is going to be physical. And I'm sure and confident about it. Thank you once again, and I hope this deliberation for the next 2 days is going to be phenomenal, and there's going to be a lot of takeaways for all those researchers who are going to be there. And thank you once again. And I would say I would end this by saying namaste rather than any time zone. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Patel. Next, we have our special guest of honor, Mr. B.S. Yadav. He is Honorable Chancellor at IES University, Bhopal, India. Mr. B.S. Yadav, he is an engineer and a founder of the Infotech Education Society, which runs the IES University. He completed his Bachelor of Engineering in 1994 from Government Engineering College, which is now UIT RGPV Bhopal. With a vision and commitment towards quality education, he conceptualized and founded the Infotech Education Society in 1999, which began serving the society at large through IES College of Education in Bhopal. His leadership and professional skills, his contribution in the field of education has won him the honor of being the president of RGPV Alumni Association. He has also participated in capacity building workshop on higher education conducted at IIM Indore. Mr. Yadav, over to you, sir. Thank
Thank
you
you
for
for
joining us.
Thank you for my nice introduction. So first of all, I very heartily good morning to all the guests, researcher. I I thank all the organizers. So first of all, I like to welcome Mr. Bharat Patel, who is the Honorary Secretary General KCCI and Advisor Global Knowledge Research Foundation. I also welcome Mr. Mike Henchy, President International Federation for Information Processing, Australia. I welcome Mr. Ananda Bose and all the esteemed guests. And I also welcome Dr. Rathore, who's a great researcher from India. On this occasion, I like to thank the organizer looking this second wave of pandemic, which is very worstly affecting the entire country. So I'm pleased to welcome all the organizer members once again. I would like to congratulate the selected presenter for this conference, which has been selected by the organizer. This information communication and technology for intelligence system conference will bring together leading academicians, scientists, researchers, and enable them to exchange and share their experiences. The research result on all the aspects of the science and engineering technology. As we know, this conference will provide the participant with opportunity to discuss and explore areas related to theory, development applications, experience and evaluation of interaction science with fellow students, researchers, and practitioners. This conference is devoted to increase the understanding of the role of the information and communication technology. How the intelligence system have evolved, the conference will provide a platform for bringing forth significant research and literature across the field of information, communication technology, and provide an overview of the technologies getting unveiled. This interaction will be the focal point for leading experts to share their insights, provide guidance, and address the participant question and concern. The advent of internet has sparked renewed interest in the area of intelligent information technology. There is a growing interest in developing intelligent technology that enable user to accomplish tasks in web-centric environment with relative ease. Utilizing such technologies as intelligent agent, distributed computing in heterogeneous environment, and computer-supported collaborative work. It will definitely provide a premier interdisciplinary platform for researcher, practitioner, and educator to present and discuss the most recent innovations, trends, and concerns, as well as practical challenges encountered and solutions adopted in the field of information, communication, and technology. This would enhance our perspective towards newer trend in information, communication, and technology. The technological change is a driver of economic growth. However, many developing countries have yet to benefit from the innovative trends. Potential contribution of science and engineering aids in building up the indigenous technical capabilities. These indigenous capabilities in science, engineering, and innovation are essential for the achievement of both short-term and long-term development goals. An essential policy of every country strategy should be elevating poverty, achieving the Millennium Development Goals, and enhancing the economic and social development effort, and these should be the established through international agreement. I once again wish all the success for the organizer and hope this conference will benefit all the participants and all the researchers across the world. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Thank you so much, Mr. Yadav. Okay, now moving ahead with our keynote session, I would like to invite our, yes, sir?
Just sorry for interruption.
Yes, sir.
Just it's reminding me this cup which we distributed in ICTIS 2015 to all the participants of a physical kind of thing. So I just thought that to share you with all this a physical gesture so that we can connect more in this ongoing digital session. So this is cup, we will have it next year again. And thank you, Dr. Yadav, for your address. Over to you, Neelam.
Thank you, sir. Now, moving ahead with our keynote session, I would like to invite our keynote speaker, Dr. Suresh Chandra Satpathy. Dr. Suresh Chandra Satpathy is a PhD in computer science engineering and currently working as a professor at School of Computer Engineering, Dean and Research at Kalinga Institute of Industrial Technology, Bhubaneswar, India. He held the position of the National Chairman of Computer Society of India and is also a member of IEEE. He has been instrumental in organizing more than 60 international conferences in India as organizing chair and has edited more than 80 books, book volumes for Springer, LNCS, AISC, LNE, and SIST series as a corresponding editor. He is quite active in research and the areas of swarm intelligence, machine learning, data mining, and cognitive sciences. He has more than 150 publications in reputed journals and conference proceedings. Dr. Suresh is on the editorial board of IGI Global in science, growing science journals, and also guest editor of Arabian Journal of Science and Engineering, published by Springer. He is a visiting professor to a number of reputed universities like Leicester, London, NTU, Singapore, Durham University, Vietnam, etc. Dr. Suresh, over to you, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Ms. Neelam. I hope I'm audible to all of you. I'm loud and
Yes.
clear. Right. So thank you all and namaskar and good morning from my side from Bhubaneswar. I would like to take a special note here and would like to thank Dr. Amit for a special mentioning the way he has been organizing the conferences, especially if I note it today, exactly my schedule as at 10:30 and exactly at 10:30 it was handed over to me, and that shows how perfectionist he is from his the time he started. And I'm really honored, and I thank the organizers of the ICTIS to invite me to be part of this team as a speaker, as a guest, as a participant. And I'm delighted to meet many of my good friends, old friends. Some of them have already spoken, and few of them are going to speak. And I'm also equally happy that this conference has received huge submissions from the different countries, and it must have been a very tough job for the reviewers, the editors to shortlist the accepted papers. I'd like to specially mention my heartfelt thanks to Mr. Nindo Bose for his consistent support for this event, for this conference, which we started in 2015, as Amit mentioned in his inaugural address. And then the legacy carried on by Amit, Dr. Amit and his team. And today I'm really very happy to be here. And I know all the participants must be eagerly waiting for their turn to speak, because I understand for 2 days, a number of parallel sessions will be there. Most of the session chairs are available, and few more keynote speakers are on the queue. So I do not want to come in between their presentation and my presentation. So I would like to wrap up within the given time slot of 20 minutes. I'll try to wrap up. And I would like to make my presentation quite simple and very, very basic from the point of view of researchers, the budding researchers, the startup, the starters, those who really interested to pursue their research, maybe the PhD students or MTech students, or maybe the undergrad students. So I would keep this as a very simple. I'm not going to talk about a lot of high panda things in this keynote address. I'd like to make it very simple, quite understandable, like I deliver in my class. I hope the audience will be benefited, and I'd be happy to take up questions if the time permits at the end. Otherwise, they can shoot me the questions to my mail ID. So I hope I can share the slide, and this privilege is given to me. No, the privilege is not given to me. Yeah, this is given to me now. I guess let me share the slide. Yeah, all right, I can share it. So is it visible to every one of you? Amit, can you see this? Okay. Yeah, you are raising your finger. Okay, fine. So I decided to keep my topic relevant to the ICTIS, but I'll not be talking about ICT. I'll be talking about the intelligent system, because if you see the conference title, this is ICT for intelligent system. So let me just focus to the intelligent system part only, and my topic will be relevant to the intelligent system design. And many of us, we have been talking about the COVID-19, the scenario which we are facing. And, just now, Aninda also referred that it is really astonishing and happy to note that a lot of research papers are coming on this pandemic time. And if you look at these research papers, you'll find out the majority of the papers are on the COVID-19. I'm sure our volume also in this ICTIS must have good number of submission on the COVID-19. And when they talk about the COVID-19, they talk about the diagnostic, they talk about the prognosis, they talk about the tracing, tracking, all that kind of healthcare solutions for these pandemic situations. So ultimately what we are uh, arriving at, that we are trying to design some kind of intelligent system. We are trying to mimic our brain to intelligent machine, and maybe we are taking the advantage or augmenting our human experience and knowledge from the machine. You must be knowing that number of such pandemic models are coming. Yesterday I was just going through an article given by one IIT professor about the pandemic model. They're all talking about mathematics, statistics, modeling for tracking how this pandemic is behaving, how when it is going to plateau, when it is going to go for peak, when it is going to die down, and so on and so forth. So naturally there must be a lot of research happening in this, and somewhere or other we must be thinking about developing some kind of intelligent system, and in that intelligent system obviously ICT plays a major role. So let me focus on the intelligent system design. So now suppose I'm given an opportunity to design one intelligent system for a given healthcare condition. Now, how do I start with? So what are all the basic essentials for a researcher, for a starter? Definitely these are the pertinent questions. So I would like to go ahead explaining that there are three essential components which I need to focus when I'm trying to design my intelligent system. One is of course your brain. I need to mimic my human brain. I must have the capability of a human being in my machine. So I must have something related relevant to ANN, artificial neural network, or CNN, or deep learning, or LSTM, and so on and so forth. There is a host of neural network algorithms today available. And today we are talking about GAN, generative adversarial network. We are talking about CNN, deep learning, and I'm sure many of our friends and participants must have got a lot of fundamentals about it. So that is the brain which I need to mimic. Then what is the other thing I need? I need linguistic reasoning, because when I go to a doctor, I don't say in terms of the binary. When I try to capture the real world information, I don't always get in binary zeros and ones. I always get in a kind of linguistic term. If you ask me how I am feeling today, I'll say, yeah, I'm little better from yesterday, or maybe I'm okay. So like Aninda said, if someone asks, how are you? It is really very difficult to express. He can't say I'm good or I'm bad. It cannot be described in kind of the binary true or false. So the real world is always a kind of linguistic reasoning. When I see somebody, I say, oh, you're looking much smarter today. So how much is the smarter? What is the component? What is the quantity? So that is one part which we need when we are designing the intelligent system. And third intelligent part, or third essential part, which I'm going to focus today on my talk, is the optimization. Whatever the things you are designing, what are the model you are designing, you need to somehow try to minimize or maximize some parameters to derive the maximum maximum utility within a given time frame. So that's what we always do. See, the way this conference is being done, like he has given 10 minutes to his speaker, he has given 20-30 minutes to the, to the keynote speaker. So that is what called, one has to optimize to deliver the maximum or the most important information during the given time, and that plays a big role in our life. We try always to optimize certain things. So my dear young friends, those who are listening to me now here, I would be mostly focusing on the optimization. And why I'm focusing on the optimization? Reason one, this is one of the essential component of the intelligent system design. Reason two, I have my own experience and expertise on developing the optimization models. In fact, I'm the developer of 2 optimization algorithms in the world, and my 3rd algorithm is very soon coming. So I thought I'll be describing one of my optimization algorithm, which I developed in 2018 with my colleagues from the other part of the country and also from the India, that I'm going to discuss today. But before that, what is an optimization? This is nothing new, and most of you must be knowing it. It is like minimizing or maximizing certain parameters when some constraints are given to you. You need to have some today I have the constant of delivering my talk within 30 minutes of the time frame, and within that the 30 minutes or 20 minutes I need to deliver whatever the best I can for the benefit of the listeners. So that is the constraint which I have, and during that, within that constraint, I have to deliver. So obviously optimization is certain things maximizing or certain things minimizing. So now, if I do not have any constraint, I call this as a feasibility problem. I call this as a feasibility problem, and any feasible solution is an optimal solution. Now I must focus here. What do you mean by optimal solution? Is it the best solution? Is it the worst solution? Is it the maximization? Is it the minimization? No, optimal solution is the best fit situation. I cannot say this is the the best. I can say it is one of the acceptable one. If I'm driving and I try to park my vehicle in a particular crowded space, so what is the best option? Do I have to see the best fitting place available to me? In case if I see that, that will be the end of the day. Probably at the night 12 o'clock, the entire space will be vacant. I can park my vehicle. No, I always see the fast fit. I always see the best fit for me at that given time. So effective and efficient manner. So I need to go for the optimal solutions. So how do I find out the optimal solution? Anything, Amit, you want to say?
Yes, Satpati sir, can you full screen your screen because the words are not clearly visible? So slideshow, the full slideshow.
Okay. Let me go to that. Okay. Is it okay?
Perfect.
Okay, thank you very much for this information. Yeah, so that's why you are the best, Dr. Amit. You know the risk management very well. So how do I find the optimal solution? So there are a number of ways we can find out the optimal solution. Now this optimal solution we can find out using mostly the stochastic optimization, or another class of the stochastic optimization is the meta heuristic optimization. You know, my focus, my research is mostly on the meta heuristic optimization. I call it evolutionary optimization, or maybe some people they call it swarm intelligence optimization. So I will only focus on this. So what kind of problem really I can apply this meta heuristic optimization? The problem I can know when I see it. It's a very peculiar sentence which I have put it here. I know it when I see it. You know, when I see this problem, I know, okay, here is this optimization problem. Meta heuristic optimization can be applied. So what do I mean that when I see it, I know it? Definitely, I don't have much idea about this problem. When I see the problem, I feel, oh, I never seen this problem before. Probably I have never solved it with any classical techniques, or I do not have any model or mathematical formulation available for this kind of problem. I don't have any idea before. I do not know what optimal solution looks like. And I do not know, is there any principled way? Is there any methodology available to solve that problem? Probably my experience might not much help. It may be some help at all. And maybe the brute force brute force technology or the concept is out of the question, because I need to probably search a large space. I can just give many examples of such kind of problem which we are seeing. For example, if I am the bank manager and I need to decide whom to give a bank loan, it's not that easy to decide whom to give a bank loan. Probably I need to see lot of parameters, the paying capability, the age, the salary, and his, the nature, my bank status, so many things. So I do not have any rule. Maybe the civil score is available with me. That is one, kind of indicator, but I cannot really justify this solely depending on the civil score. I know number of such cases where the civil score have been very bad, but the people have been given the loan and they have repaid on time. So what is coming here? That when I see such kind of problem, I know I need some kind of solution. So how do I solve this problem? Simple, that SAS. I call it as a SAS, sample, apply, and assess. So this is one of the most natural way we solve the problem. You take a random sample, apply to your problem, and you evaluate. If you are happy, accept it. If you are not happy, then you start doing it again. So this is SAS is the one method which we do it. So is it a random search? Hopefully it is a random search, but it is not a pure random, because in this particular random search you will have some kind of tweaking, some kind of twisting to be done in some kind of guided way or some kind of methodological way. So that really gave idea to go ahead with some kind of meta heuristic algorithms. So this meta heuristic, there are a number of such meta heuristic algorithms. I don't know why it is not moving. Okay, yeah. So yeah, so there are a number of algorithms are available, and those and most of the algorithms are nature inspired. I in fact concentrated on the nature inspired meta heuristics, because from the nature we get lot of learning. The biggest learning what we have got today during the pandemic is that not coexisting with other, like Aninda has put it, Bharat Bhai has put it. We need to coexist. Mike has also emphasized this. We need to coexist with others. So coexisting is the solution today. So we need to learn a lot of things from the nature. We need to mimic the metaphors which are happening in the nature, the way the nature is solving, the species are solving, the ants are solving, the bees are solving, or so on and so forth. So many creatures are there. So there is a classification of the nature inspired algorithm which is presented below here. I will not go details of that. And this classification are based on the different ramifications, different broad spectrums. And one of that spectrum which we wanted to really take up in our research is the cultural and social algorithm. So this cultural and social algorithm we studied, and then we found that yes, we can go for a newer algorithm. Now the question is coming, when we have so many optimization algorithm, why do I need another optimization algorithm? Because we have found after a lot of studies that there is no universal algorithm for all optimization problems. I cannot find out something called, one-stop solutions. Each specified optimization algorithm be better at some optimization problem than others. And that really gave some motivation to us to, further explore few optimization algorithms so that we can see how things are happening. And we could also find that no algorithm might outperforms all other algorithms. No, one strategy is doing better than other strategies. So therefore, there is always a scope to develop new optimization algorithm, because very often when I deliver the talk or the addresses, I get this kind of question that why do I have 100 such algorithms, why I need 101, why I need 102? I just would like to tell them that there is a theorem called no pre-launch theorem. No algorithm comes without having any kind of penalty. Every algorithm has its own demerits and the penalty. So based on that, we need to think about some kind of solutions. And the social inspired optimization algorithm is one such which we followed. And there are a number of such algorithms you can see under social algorithm or cultural algorithm. It is based on the political ideologies, some algorithm based on the competitive behavior, some algorithm based on the social and cultural interactions, and again, human colonizations. Our social evolution learning optimization, cello, is based on the social and cultural interaction. And in that particular branch, you can find out one more called social group optimization, SGO, is also my developed own algorithm in the world in 2016, which became the fourth best coding optimization algorithm in IEEE coding competition in China in 2016, when we competed social group optimization. That also covers under the social and cultural optimization algorithm. So number of such algorithms have been there from 2003 to 2016 to 2018, and very soon I'll have my 2021 a new algorithm, which when it comes we'll definitely discuss it further. So let me just move on. What is this cello and how this has been developed? Social evaluation and learning optimization is mostly captured from the human behavior and learning from family to the family, from a sibling to the other sibling, from the kids to the other family kids. So we all stay in a societal setup. We all stay in a colony, and we know we always interact. Like in our this particular conference, Amit has very specifically mentioned the main focus of this event or this international forum is not just to submit what you know or what you have done, rather it just to get yourself connected with what others are doing, and then that is called learning from each other, and that is called the social metaphor analysis and learning from others behavior. And then we have studied very critically how the group of the families or the individuals in the family, they are behaving in a societal interaction. If you see, we have a father, mother, and let's say kids, and these kids initially they imitate the behavior from the parent. That's why always we say that we are the root. If we all hold the good legacy of good human values, our kids also will be inheriting it from us. So there is an inheritance of property, we know, in object oriented programming. So they will inherit some kind of property from us. So the kids, when they are kid, they follow from us, and then they interact with my neighbor's kid, and they also follow the neighbor's kid, and they also get acquainted with the parents of the neighbor's kid, and there is a close interaction happening. And because of this close interaction, you find out that if the influence of the other parent or other kids are more on my kid, then you might find that my kid goes wayward. Maybe he doesn't follow me, he doesn't follow my human values, he doesn't follow my own trends and or more my qualities. So some parents must have seen that their kids are not following them. Why does it happen? We studied this happened because the influence of yours on your kids are minimal than the influence of his friends or maybe the parents of his friends on your kids. So that is a natural phenomena, and with that interaction they try to emulate each other, and this emulation makes them learn in a positive direction or maybe learn in a negative direction. So ultimately what is happening, they are trying to optimize their traits, they're trying to optimize their capabilities, and because of that traits and capability optimization, they are trying to become a good human being or negatively not a good human being. So this is what we have studied, and after studying this we try to make an algorithm on this. And this algorithm, I'm not going through the details of the algorithm. So we have made one algorithm, a framework. If you look at this flow chart, you can see there are, all the algorithm follows the same basic evolutionary optimization techniques. Only thing is that we have a new technique of learning, we have a new technique of communication, we have the new technique of adaptation of the parameter, and with that they are trying to optimize their behavior. And it goes on in an iterative way until we come to a convergence. Convergence is the stopping criteria where we have achieved our objective, and we developed the mathematical model of this. I'll give you the paper link also at the end of my slide so that it is free, it can be downloaded, and we are ready to share the codes, source codes, if you are interested to implement for your work. And then this we compare with 8 popular evolutionary optimization algorithms: PSO, covariance matrix adoption, ABC, adaptive D, and many others. And when we try to compare with these 8 others, taking 35 benchmark problems, and we compare with in a 2 different way. One is called the rank based testing, other is called the 2 sample t-test. So these are the different kind of testing strategies available. Those who are working on the optimization, on evolutionary optimization, they know how do you test your algorithm with other algorithm. Particularly, this is very essential for the listeners who are working on this. When you present your paper, when you write your paper, you always have to test with state-of-the-art models. And when you want to compare with state-of-the-art models, you have to take rank test, you have to take t-square t-test, chi-square test. Like that, many statistical tests are available. And when we have taken number of benchmark functions, and in all this, you can see the last one, we have shown our algorithms performance, which really performs better. And then when we do the rank wise testing, we could find that out of 35 test problems which we have taken, out of not 35, many test from 50 benchmark problems which we have taken, our algorithm performs in 35 best. Of course, there is BSA who has outperformed us by 1. Rest of the algorithms were far below. And when we have taken the t-test, we could find this low each and every algorithm. When we compare 1 to 1, then we could find out that we are doing better in more than 10, 15, and even 26 algorithms compared to the others. When we did this, we could found that yes, this is becoming a very good optimization solution. So it outperformed many, and we have now it has been implemented in many applications. If you see the Cello, you'll find out a lot of citation, a lot of application of this. And we have also taken the convergence criteria to see how does it really converge, and we could find that it converges much faster compared to the others. And these are the convergence criteria which we are presenting. And then this is the link which can be taken to download the paper, and my friends can be benefited. And we are ready to share the codes of the Cello and codes of the SGO source codes. Those who are working, they can directly implement it just by fine tuning their problem, and they can definitely see a very good result compared to many other algorithms in terms of the accuracy, in terms of the efficiency. So with this, I think I would not overshoot the time, and I would try to limit the time which is given to me. And thank you very much, the organizers. Special thanks to Dr. Amit and the team, and thanks to all other my friends for giving me the opportunity and having a pleasant hearing from my side. Thank you very much. If any question, they can shoot at me. Otherwise, we can always, they can mail me, and I'll be happy to answer them. Thank you. Over to you, Nilima.
Thank you so much, Dr. Suresh. Our next keynote speaker is Dr. Nilanjan De. He is an associate professor in the Department of Computer Science and Engineering, GIS University, Kolkata. He is a visiting fellow of the University of Reading, UK. He is an adjunct professor of Ton Duc Thanh University, Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam. He was awarded his PhD from Jadavpur University in 2015. He is a senior member of IEEE. He is the editor-in-chief of the International Journal of Ambient Computing and Intelligence at IGI Global. He is the series co-editor of Springer Tracts in Nature-Inspired Computing at Springer, also a series co-editor of Advances in Eubiotics Sensing Applications for Healthcare at Elsevier. His main research interests include medical imaging, machine learning, computer-aided diagnosis, data mining, etc. Dr. Nilanjan De, over to you, sir.
Thank you, Nilima. A very good morning to all of you. Good morning to Amit, Mike, Anindada, Satapati sir, and everyone, Bharat ji and all. My health condition is not good today, but still I'm trying to give a 10 to 15 minutes talk. Can you please give me the share option?
You are already on the share.
Okay, 1 minute, please. Is it visible, Amit?
Can you slide show it, the complete
Yeah.
one?
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect.
Okay. So I am giving a talk on telehealth during and beyond COVID-19. I don't know the title is correct or not, because I was thinking uh, about this word beyond, but I have chosen this because I am very much optimistic. Uh, so telehealth care is basically the clinical care is available anytime, anywhere, and the clinicians that they can obtain the consultation. If the clinicians are geographically dislocated place, their positioning, they can consult with each other. And if there are homebound patient, they needs to monitor remotely, which is very much required nowadays. And lastly, those who are medical student especially, so for them now, from anywhere, anytime, they need support. So these are the area which actually the potential area of this telehealth care. Now, telemedicine is basically IT enabled services, or which actually helps to deliver the health services by using ICT for the diagnosis, for the treatment, and for the prevention of the disease. And in telemedicine, our main objective is just to cut down the one-to-one interaction and in between the patient and the doctors. Now, telehealth is the main thing. Under telehealth comes education, innovation, the research, administration, everything. One subset is the telemedicine. So telemedicine, once we talk about telemedicine, it is basically a ICT which actually provides to the clinical services for the primary care, for the medical specialist, or the intensive care services, or the emergency departments. So this is mostly, entirely rather better to say, it's an ICT enabled services, which is a subset of the telehealth. Now, there are different types of telemedicine. One is called the live, which is a category of synchronized, where there is a two ways communication, audio visual, between the patient and the care provider. Second thing is that telephonic, which is always audio based services. And the last one is the e-consultants, which is you are having some stored video or some support services. So stored and forward, that is the asynchronous mode. So these are the synchronous and asynchronous modes are there. And there are live synchronization, there is e-consultant. For the live synchronization, two ways communication, it can be the patient to the provider or the provider to the provider. Or for e-consultant, there the services is stored and forward, as I said, this is asynchronous, which is provider to provider. And then comes to the remote support system, which is also patient to the provider. And lastly, the medical health or M-health, where the healthcare networks to the patient, in between the patient, where there is a big thing comes, that is the trust issue. So there are three main components for implementation of telehealth. One is the people, one is called the process, and lastly the tools. So once we talk about the people, we talk about the staff, those who are basically the call center staff, or the patient representative, who are actually helps to the registration process. Then comes the nurses, and then the providers, and also the community health workers. And lastly, another one, you can say it's a new process, key process, that is called a billing staff. So these are the people. Then comes the process. For process, say it's a staff communication or meet with each other, might be by texting or might be by Zoom call, etc. There can be the staff communication with the patient, which is also cell phone based or internet service based, basically the voice based one. And then there is another type which is called the shareable documents. So this is another process. So it's all IT enabled services. And lastly comes the tools. In cases of tools, we have to use some free version or inexpensive version for much usability. If you wants to increase the usability, it should be very fast. It should be very easy for the patient and the provider. Might be it's an app based one. And then comes the systems for the call patient, or the provider and the staff can communicate without phone. So without phone, they can call or they can interact. So that is another way of communication. So these are the tools which needs to be available for the telehealth services. And the main challenges are there. The virtual workflow need to be understood properly. And there are different constraints. Data security, privacy issues are there. Trust issues also there. And misinformation, it should not be proper. I mean, any kind of misinformation needs to be propagated throughout the system. And lastly, the patient needs to be technically, there are deficiencies which needs to be overcome. Otherwise, the things will be very difficult to manage. Uh, Now, talking about COVID or regarding this pandemic, we have seen that in last 1.5 years, there is a dramatic change going through in the health informatics, basically the public health sector. And the pandemic actually keeps underscore the opportunities or the importance of health informatics, especially in the area of health, telehealth, the remote monitoring, the EHR services, and the health providers online training support or briefing kind of things, and definitely the awareness of caller tunes, which you already we know all these things. So here what happened, our objective was primarily from 2020 onwards that we will not go to hospital directly if you have a very limited symptoms. So for that, just to avoid the rush of the patient and to prevent the the emergency room. And now once the vaccination starts, the same problem we are facing, that people should not gather in a place and it should not be overcrowded. And another thing is the infectious disease, it will not propagate. So for that, we need to control it, and it should always cut down the mask, usage of mask, because if we not go outside, it will automatically get reduced, so you can breathe properly. Though people are saying that this disease is an airborne, but it's not. It's still there are few papers are published in Lancet and all, but still we don't know actual the things regarding this COVID. Okay, so the process is something like this. There should be a telemedicine segment. From there should be online clinical consultation. So either you can stay at home or you can go to the hospitals, and if you have suspected fever, uh, if it is unknown reason or if it is a known reason for that, you can go for the telemonitoring services. And there will be no severe patient, and the severe patient, for them there will be different telemonitoring consultation, and that needs to be followed. And ultimately the whole structure looks like this. And then comes one example, like the pregnancy period, before, during, and after this period. So we found that during this pandemic, this is one I'm giving one example, like during and the post and the pre-pregnancy period, different support needs to be provided to the pregnant woman. So it might be the virtual PC visit, it might be the glucose monitoring, it might be the mental support, it might be online consultation provided. So these things need to be done. Now, regarding the usage, like one example I'm giving, like in UCSF last year, they started providing the telemedicine cards. So once you enter into the university, you need to pass through that one. But apart from this, in the flight also, there is in-flight telemedicine. And we are also working in this area where, which is related to IoT, medical wearable devices. And lastly, drone-based technologies. So drone-based support. Also, we are few of our work we already done in this area, where we try to design the social drone for this kind of services. So this pandemic, actually, it's a fear, the impact, we don't know the psychological pressure. So regarding all these things, we try to come up with some papers, just like, you can go through this one, this from Asian. And this book we published last year from Springer. Possibly this was the very first book on COVID from in engineering track from Springer. So you can go through this one. So that's all from my side, because today actually I'm not well. Thank you very much. Hello.
Well, thank you so much, and take care.
Thank you.
Next keynote speaker is Dr. Mufti Mahmood. Dr. Mufti Mahmood is a professor at Nottingham Trent University, United Kingdom. He leads the MSc in Data Analytics for Business and the Data Analytics strand of the online MBA courses. Dr. Mahmood is a member of the Digital Governance Operation and Steering Committee, as well as the International Mobility Committee. Also, Dr. Mahmood serves as an independent endpoint assessor for the level 6 BSc in Digital and Technology Solutions professional degree apprenticeship. His research vision is to contribute towards a secure, smart, healthy, and better world to live in. And Dr. Mufti's research involves computational health and social sciences and neuroscience, healthcare, applied data science, computational neuroscience, big data analytics, cybersecurity, machine learning, cloud computing, and software engineering, and plans to develop secure computational tools to advance healthcare access in low resource settings. Dr. Mahmood, over to you, sir.
I think Neelam, Dr. Mahmood is joining in a couple of minutes, and till the time he joins, can we have a group photograph by clicking on the snaps? So
yes, sir, sure.
Can I request everyone to put on their cameras so that we can have a picture? And I request my team to just click on the snaps of every. Another 30 seconds.
Let's have a Zoom smile.
Thank you, I think. And we will have a short gap of another 1 or 2 minutes till Dr. Mufti joins, and we'll get back with the session. Thank you. Yes, hi again. Actually, by the time Dr. Mufti joins, we have left out the theme address of Mr. Nakul Sherdalal. So here is the theme address by Mr. Nakul Sherdalal for the conference. So I'll invite Mr. Nakul to give his theme address at this point of time till the time we are waiting for Dr. Mufti. So over to you, Mr. Sherdalal. Thank you.
Yes, Amiji, thanks. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. A very good afternoon to all of you. Good morning, actually. I'm here to present the theme address for this conference, and I would like to thank everyone who have joined to make this conference a huge success. Artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, e-commerce, deep learning, machine learning, data, and all other allied matters are going to change the world, the way the world is functioning, especially in the challenging time like COVID-19. The dignitaries and speakers of the conference, some of them have already spoken, and some of them are, still to speak. Will share their expertise, thoughts, and guidance in the field of information and communication technology for intelligence systems. Being an intellectual property expert, I can tell you that there has been an increase in the manner in which the technologies are evolving. There has also been an increase in dependency of IT on IP, information technology on intellectual property. Strong IPR ecosystem encourage inventive and creative activities that are seen as an important source of long-run economic growth. With IT, I usually like to focus on basic innovations versus improved innovation, as IT companies usually revolve around the innovation-based advantage model. The competitive edge that an entrepreneurial business may gain with a basic innovation is likely to be longer lasting than that obtained merely from an improvement innovation, assuming that the technological barriers to competitors taking advantage of similar innovations are approximately equivalent. Since a basic innovation establishes a new class of product or service, entry of competition requires that the opportunity provided by that class is recognized by a potential competitor before it attempts to enter the market. Protecting clients' invaluable intellectual properties day in and day out by way of non-disclosure documents, business agreements, IP applications, and successful assignments. I have rather come across to a crossroads of thoughts where I keep, jotting my thoughts down in form of a note, which I think I'll compile in form of a book in a year. I keep wondering whether excessive IVR protection is likely to lead to an inadequate dissemination of new knowledge, which is in itself could slow growth to the extent that access to existing technology is necessary to induce further innovation. Because I look at successful precedents like OpenAI among others, who welcome innovators, creators to jump on the research and do better. So that's the world I keep looking at and tell myself that eventually this pool has to increase, leading to better technologies for humanity. I also want to add towards the end that present scenario has pushed us to being more virtual. So what is going to be for us to meet in the future? I believe virtual conventions are way for future. So with that, I would like to conclude my theme address, and I would like to thank the organizers and supporters of this conference and providing with me with an opportunity to present the theme of this conference. Many thanks, Amitji. Back to you.
Thank you. Thank you. Over to you, Neelam. I think Dr. Mufti has already joined the session. So
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sure. Okay, our next keynote speaker is Dr. Mufti Mahmood. Dr. Mufti is a professor at Nottingham-Trent University, United Kingdom. He leads the MSc in Data Analytics for Business and the Data Analytics strand of the online MBA courses. Dr. Mahmood is a member of the NTU Distance Learning Governance, Operation and Steering Committee, as well as the International Mobility Committee. Also, Dr. Mahmood serves as an independent endpoint assessor for the Level 6 BSc in Digital and Technology Solutions professional degree apprenticeship. His research vision is to contribute towards a secure, smart, healthy, and better world to live in. And Dr. Mahmood's research involves computational health and social sciences and neurosciences, healthcare, applied data science, computational neuroscience, big data analytics, cybersecurity, machine learning, cloud computing, and software engineering, and plans to develop secure computational tools to advance healthcare access in low resource settings. Dr. Mahmood, over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, Dr. Amit, and all the organizers for this kind invitation. I'm having a very bad sore throat, so I I don't know how long I will be able to talk. Well, I am really grateful for this kind invitation, and it is always a pleasure to be with all these beautiful people, nice friends, and in these conferences. So just let's say that I actually did prepare a brief PowerPoint where I wanted to just shed some lights on intelligent systems in this current pandemic research, that how we can use intelligent systems in dealing with pandemics. So do I have the permission to share the screen?
yes, Dr. Mufti, you have.
So just allow me a second that so yes, might be now. Yes. Is it visible?
Yes, it is.
Yes,
It
sir.
is
Yeah,
visible.
yeah, it is visible.
Okay, so this is just an overview of, let's say, that how intelligence systems are contributing in combating the current COVID-19 pandemic. Well, I am somehow in the UK, the situation is improving. Well, not quite a lot, uh, but we are still easing the lockdown. However, the data scientists are predicting another wave during the summer. We can see that many of the Asian countries are still suffering and still in a very bad position. Well, India probably had the highest number of infected people a couple of days ago. So we need much more research in trying to stop this pandemic and stop this infection wildfire. Now, what I'm going to do here is just briefly introduce some of the pandemic trends and the information, and then how COVID-19 can be, in certain sense, dealt through intelligent systems, and some of the resources, because, well, I'm pretty sure that there are lots of um, early career researchers here, okay, who would be waiting to find out resources about doing some research and then some potential challenges. Now, well, in the history of pandemics, we are experiencing something. The COVID-19 is not the worst one, okay? It is still at the very early stage. And therefore, there is nothing in that particular sense to be really afraid about this. Well, we know that there is a lot of infection rate, and a lot of countries have suffered a lot, but, well, this is nothing in comparison to what we have already seen in the past. So the good news is that, well, we can still be positive about it, and we can rely on our resilience to beat the pandemic. And at the same time, this is not the only pandemic that is going on. Okay, so we are actually, as human race, we are always familiar with a number of different pandemics. Might not be at this scale that that has touched almost all the countries in the world, but, well, especially in certain regions of the country, for example, in Africa and other parts of the world, there are a number of pandemics which are always ongoing. So that is also one of the things that we can be somewhat be relieved that, well, this is not the only pandemic, though it has provided a lot of restriction on a number of different things due to its transmissibility. So it has hit us hard, but, well, we need to remember that we are capable of dealing with such situations. Now, in terms of the disease reproduction rate, well, COVID-19 has got around a 2.5 rate, whereas, well, there are other diseases, for example, measles, smallpox, rubella, mumps, which are way higher in reproduction rate in comparison to the COVID-19. Now we have dealt with all of those diseases. So, well, we can be positive that we will be dealing with this as well. It's just a matter of time that we will be sustaining ourselves and we'll be dealing with this disease as well. Now, as per the death toll per year, and we can also see that, well, still cancer is the highest one, and then we have the respiratory diseases, the lower respiratory infections, the dementia, etc. So we can see that there are still large killers out there. We know that COVID-19 is killing a lot of people, but apart from this pandemic, normally there are other diseases which are killing a lot more people. So we are learning from those. We'll definitely be able to beat this pandemic as well. Now, in terms of risk ranking, well, we had seen that as the pandemic started, okay, a number of different organizations did some ranking. Well, UK was ranked as third, and this is something which was predicted quite well at that time. Well, UK had a huge infection, and it had to undergo for a number of months in lockdown situation. And now that, well, it has started administering the vaccination as one of the earliest countries in the world, and has a very high number of vaccinations already administered in the population. So things are looking better now. And in terms of the preparedness, if we take a look at the Asian countries, we can see that actually India was mid-level prepared. However, I do understand, and this is something which everybody would agree, that for a nation where there are a number of percentage of people who are living under the poverty line, keeping a country locked down and restricting people's movement is not that easy. Okay, but well, I'm really glad that these countries, they are trying their best to um, reassess their risk and then act accordingly. Now, it is very important that COVID-19 is acted upon early to deal with it. And this is something which can only be done by creating awareness and handling the situation at an early stage. And this is something which will definitely reduce the burden on the health system in each of these countries. So this is something which people, as we have been listening, that we need to flatten the curve. So flattening the curve means putting less and less burden to the health system due to this disease. As it is very highly infectious, at the same time, many people get infected, and we need to stop that. Not many people should be infected. The infection rate to sustain will have to slow the infection rate. And how can intelligence system as a whole contribute in this? So we can have intelligence system applied in forecasting, patient screening, and drug development, being one of the few areas where we can apply intelligence systems. And in terms of the forecasting, we can apply it in contact tracing, in simulation and modeling of the dynamics of the disease, understanding the social interventions, that how our societal movement should be in terms of trying to restrict the virus transmissibility, and the logistical planning and economic interventions, because these restrictions on movements would be having severe effect on the logistical plannings. Now, in terms of the patient screening, there will be the risk assessment and patient prioritization, okay, and then the screening and diagnosis and automated patient care. So a lot of work over the last one year has been done in these, and I am aware that there are speakers and very good scientists like Dr. Nilanjan Dey is here, and who has been contributing hugely in the patient screening side. And on the top of it, there is also the drug development. And this vaccine development has been possible in so quick, thanks to the artificial intelligence and intelligent system techniques applied into the drug development process. Now, here are a few list. Of course, this is non-exhaustive, of the data sets which are out there, which includes the mostly the image data sets here, okay, and the social media data sets. And then we also have some challenges in terms of the competition type challenges which are made available through Kaggle. And then there are other communal resources pertaining to natural language processing. There are a number of different tools which have been made available. There are resource pages, and biological data and telehealth data as well. So in terms of the support and the community response, there has been a lot of effort and synergy which has been put in making these resources available. Now it is on the hand of the researchers to make good use of them and try to build something which will be more resilient to this pandemic. Now, what are the challenges? The challenges still we have are data scarcity, though we have been through this situation for many years in a number of different countries. We have limited data due to the data privacy and patient-related information. The sample size often tends to be very small because we are seeing a lot of variants and of the virus, and in a number of cases, these variants have got different effects on the people. And definitely we need to also consider the localized context. For example, as we are talking about the variants at different countries have got different effect on the patients. Now, the correctness of the results versus the urgency, this is something which is an interesting discussion that, well, we need to detect or contain the disease very quickly. However, we cannot really let's say be very careless about the correctness of the results or of the methodological accuracy of the developed methods. And this is something which is very important, and there are a number of different challenges out there which needs addressing. And then other challenges include that the data which we have then require anonymization, and it requires multidisciplinary research from also including the doctors here in this particular case, and definitely country-specific solutions, because there is no one-size-fit-all solution in this particular case. So with this, I would like to thank the organizers again for inviting me to share my two pens here. And if there is any question, I'll be very happy to answer them here now. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Mufti Mahmood. Well, our next keynote speaker is Dr. Jyoti Chaudhary, but she won't go along with us because of some urgent work. She couldn't make it through this conference, although she already has given her consent earlier with us. So we are directly moving forward to the closing remarks by our organizing chair, Dr. Amit Joshi. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Neelam. And actually, there's a lot of thoughts going on when we do digital conferences. So when we did physical conferences, it was about traveling, staying at a hotel and a guest house, having different kinds of food, exploring new places, making new friends, having conference kits, clicking on snaps, lots of snaps and photos, and putting on social media. But when we are now in digital modes, the things have changed. Now the time zones are important. Now the photos doesn't matter at all. Only voices are important. Presentations are important. But making a new friends and the connect which we had during those physical conference is still missing. So with this voice of note, I just want to tell everyone that although we are facing a very rough time and the deadliest in the history, but we will meet definitely very soon. We will have lots of avenues to discuss with you all again, and we will definitely create new history after this pandemic is over. And my thanks for this whole session are due to many people, but specifically Dr. Mike, who has been awake since 2:30 a.m. in the morning in Ireland and addressing this session, and then Dr. Mufti, whose current time zone is right now, it's around 7 o'clock there in the morning. And there are many of the participants who have been joined from different time zones. So I thank you everyone, including all the speakers and guests who have joined us from India, Mr. Bose, Dr. Satpati, Dr. Nilanjan, Mr. Sher Dalal, Mr. Patel, Dr. Yadav, and everyone who is not currently in the session and going to chair the sessions in next few couple days, in 1 or 2 days, and next few sessions. So I wish you all a very best during this, and please do network. Networking is more important than presenting your work, because presenting your work will be on our website. Anybody can see it at any point of time. But if you connect with new people, definitely next coming year will be more fruitful, will be more optimistic to you all. And with these all best wishes, and I hope that ICTIS 2022 will be in physical modes and we will meet soon. I rest my talk to this for this inaugural session, and now the platform is generally we do not do it, but this is a new scenario and new times, and again we thought that ICTIS 2021 will be a physical one, but it is not. So I am opening up the session for everyone. If they want to speak anything in this session, you are most welcome for this. So the platform is open and floor is yours. So if anybody want to express any kind of things, please do come and we will be happy to hear your thoughts about the current scenarios as well as the conference and all that.
I would like to say something.
Yes, Dr.
First of all, I would like to congratulate JR Foundation, Amit Joshi, and all the team members for organizing such a nice conference and providing us the opportunity to at least meet each other online mode. Because in this pandemic time, for last 1 year or more than 1 year, we have been sitting at homes and doing our work. We are not able to go outside. As you very well said, that traveling is not possible and going out is not possible. But still, because of these conferences and these virtual seminars, we could have gathered online and we could see each other. And most of the time, we can chat also in the private chat. So that's how we're making this networking and meeting possible. And I'm very happy to see all the friends, Professor Mike Inchi, Aninda Bose sir, Bharat Patel sir, and then so many Nilesh Thakur sir, Mufti Mohammed ji, all these people we can at least see and we can feel each other. So thank you so much to the organizers for organizing such a nice conference. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Rathod. Anyone from authors who want to speak up?
Good to see your voice, hear your voice and see your face, Dr. Rathod.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
I think we were meeting too often, so suddenly nature has said, stay at home, don't meet too often.
Whenever we see those faces, we just recall all those days in London and in all the different countries and in India itself. So really missing, especially Professor Mike Inchi, we are missing you a lot.
Yeah, true, very true. I was just chatting with Mike and he said he has so many invites in December. But still, it looks very elusive, whether we will be will be able to travel in December this year, sitting in April, because the way things have moved now, computer simulation modulation with mathematicians is not totally coordinated with the biologists. So it is a very difficult problem.
Yes.
Yes, Dr. Amit.
Yeah.
May I?
Yes, you can. And before you speak, there is one of the directors of our organization, Mr. Meil, who is currently positive on a note, but we are missing his presence and we hope to get him back very soon.
Meil also got positive.
Yes, he is positive. So all prayers to him, and we
wish his speedy recovery.
Back very soon. Yes, Dr. Nilesh.
Yeah, I hope all of you are in a good health of situation. Basically, even I'm not that much well. I just now told to or communicated to Aninda Dada and Rathod sir. A day before I took the vaccine and going through the heavy fever and heavy headache. And I was very much bothered about ICTIS 24th. I have to chair the session. And I was bit worried. But always Dr. Amit is a motivation for everybody. Some or other way, everybody is get ignited and do start to contribute. Even Dr. Nilanjan is not well, but took out his time and shared his thoughts. And typical thing of all this last 2.5 hours, is the only one word which have been spoken by Dr. Aninda Dada, that is the coexistence. I do extend that one with one more word. Coexistence is the existence for every one of us.
True.
And that have been justified by Dr. Amit. If you want to have existence, do follow the coexistence, do go for the networking. This is what from my side. And always, Dr. Amit, you have motivated every one of us to go for the networking. Not this time. You are doing it from last so many years. And I hope your all wishes will come true. Hope everything will be go offline and we will meet very soon. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you, Dr. Thakur. And any of the authors want to speak anything? Otherwise, we will just be closing this inaugural session very soon.
Now everyone is getting positive, and we don't want positive people anymore. So, what a situation!
We need
Just
positive
imagine.
thinking only. We need positivity, not positive report.
Exactly.
Hello, everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am Dr. Ujjwala Kshirsagar, Associate Professor from Symbiosis Institute of Technology, Pune. Actually, I would like to express my deep gratitude towards Dr. Amit and all the co-hosts and all the keynote speakers today, because they brought us a new umang and hope in this pandemic situation. Currently, we are living in the Maharashtra, and Maharashtra is now is a very much a sensitive zone for the pandemic situation. But still, because of this international conference, I feel so happy during this pandemic situation, even I am able to present my paper. And thanks you so much for giving us such a opportunity to present a paper in front of. And also we are collaborating the different peoples from the different institutions. And I think it will be a better platform and nothing more than better in the pandemic situation. Thanks to all of you.
Thank you, Dr. Ujjwala. Anyone else wants to speak?
Thank you, Ujjwalaji. I got a little nostalgic hearing my own college name, Symbiosis. So thank you for speaking out.
Okay, anyways, with a lighter note and a heavy heart, we have to close this session. And I pray for everyone and all near and dear ones to you and your family that everyone stays safe during this pandemic time, and look forward to see you soon. And now, as I think Neelam will just brief you about the technical sessions before this closing. So Neelam, over to you.
Yes, sir. I thank all the guests and speakers for your valuable time. Also, I thank our authors for their valuable contributions for their papers. I thank you very much, everyone, to join us digitally. Also, I would like to state you that all the technical sessions for ICTIS 2021 has been arranged for 2 days. Today will be 8 sessions, and tomorrow there will be 12 sessions. These will go in parallel. Today, first 2 sessions will be started on 12:30 p.m. Later on, next 3 sessions will be at 2:30 p.m. and today's last 3 sessions will be at 4:30 p.m. So for tomorrow, first 3 sessions will be held at 10:30 a.m. On 12:30 p.m. Next 3 sessions will be started. Later by then, another 3 sessions will be on 2:30 p.m. and day 2's last 3 sessions will be held at 4:30 p.m. So kindly be noted with time and join the session. Every presenters will get 8 to 10 minutes for the presentation, and on 8 minutes, host will raise a gentle reminder. Also, there will be 2 minutes for a Q&A. So at last, I thank you for being the part of the ICTS 2021. Stay safe and take care, everyone.
Thank you very much, Neelam. And this platform is still open for next 5 minutes. if anybody wants to chat individually, they are open to network with people they are open to, and you will have also time during the happy hours which we have kept during our conference, which will be between the technical sessions. If anybody wants to connect with anybody, please do let the team know. We will be happy to assist you in the best way possible. Thank you and stay safe.